Please welcome this week's special guest, Graham. So, Bobby, what is Graham to you?
So this is Graham. When I won his competition, my prize was a trolley dash through a pound shop.
Joe Brand, how do you know Graham?
This is my old neighbour, Graham, and when my landlady was trying to sell my flat, I asked Graham to bang a bongo to put off any potential buyers.
Oh. And finally, Lee, what is your relationship with Graham?
This is Graham. All his bees flew away when I was looking after them.
So there we have it. Bobby's pound shop pal, Joe's noisy neighbour, or Lee's beeless buddy. David's team, where do you begin?
OK, well, we'll start with Bobby. So what was Graham's competition?
So he was organising a competition to open a new pound store, actually 99p store.
So, sorry, he was organising a competition to open one?
So it's a competition where somebody gets to open the store.
So the prize was opening the new pound store?
Yes.
What was the competition?
Oh, so you had to submit some sort of, like, artistic, creative entry that you could display or show off at the opening.
The winner of the artistic competition would win the prize of opening the new pound store.
And get to do a trolley dash as well.
How long did you get to dash?
99 seconds. It would make sense, wouldn't it? 99p.
Makes sort of.
I suppose, or 99 years, or... yeah, fine.
Bobby, tell us about your artistic entry.
So...
Oh, the old Rob Brydon chat-up line.
So I wrote, like, a little, like, poem or a jig.
A what?
Sorry?
A jig?
A jig, like, little, like, few words to open it.
That's not a jig, is it?
poem,
A
like...
jig is a dance.
But you could... If you had, in theory, a good verse, you could jig to it as well.
Now, do you recall any of this poem?
So I definitely remember one line was, at 99p store, bargains galore.
At 99p
And then everyone's, like, jigging.
Bargains galore.
And everyone's, like, jigging away at the opening.
So that was your artistic entry. What was it up against?
I don't know.
Let me rephrase that. What did that beat?
I think it's far more likely that Bobby's entry was actually the only one.
What sort of size crowd was it? How many people had this attracted?
60, 70, 80?
That's a lot.
Why didn't you say about 70?
Because it's somewhere in the region of 60 to 80.
Well, that's about 70.
So,
It could be, but it might be the lower end. Might be 60.
so 60-plus people have gone...
Maximum 80.
Apparently they're opening a new pound store in the area, so that would be a great thing to do. Shall we go to that?
I
don't want to go. Haven't you heard? Someone's reading a poem. Get my coat.
Yes, it's quite... It's not just a poem. It's one of those poems you're encouraged to jig around to.
We'll never get in. It'll be packed. Oh, I don't know, 60 to 80, probably 59 plus, but maybe towards the lower end. Let's go, darling.
All right, who next?
Joe, Graham is your former neighbour, is that right?
Yes, Graham is my former neighbour, and my landlady wanted to sell the flat I was living in, so I enlisted the help of Graham to just make it sound, obviously, like there was loads of noise all the time to put off the buyers.
So he would just listen out for when people were being shown round?
No, well, she would tell me when people were coming to look round.
Yeah.
Joe, didn't she think it was maybe a bad idea to let you be the person who shows people around? Because, like, you're not incentivised to try and make it look nice because you're going to lose your home if it's sold.
It happens more than you think in supermarkets. There are people at the supermarket showing you how to use the automatic checkout.
Yeah.
And you go, well, that's a turkey voting for Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did he have the bongos, or did you have to supply them?
He had decorative bongos, which which I never really heard him play very much.
Is that like a male version of Vajazzled? I'd like the decorative bongos, please.
So did any of the prospective buyers be like, oh, that's a nightmare? Does that go on often? Like, did they fall for it?
It worked a treat. Not one single one said, really love a bit of bongos above my head of an evening.
And why was Graham so keen to help?
Because we knew each other, I'd have played the bongos for him if he'd asked me, so...
Honestly, a bottle of wine's enough.
Lee, remind us of your story.
Well, Graham was is a beekeeper, and I was looking after his bees, and they all managed to escape.
Why were you looking after his bees? Because Graham is
Yeah.
a beekeeper and you are a comedian.
Yes, but he kept wearing the wrong shirts, and they kept landing on him.
So he has bees in his garden,
Yes,
and he's, what, going on holiday?
he's going away for 5 days.
And it's obviously filling in that number of pet passports for a few tens of thousands of bees. It's a nightmare.
How do you look after bees? Because you don't feed them, do you?
They actually have, like, a sugary, watery thing that you feed them.
Do you feed them individually?
Yes, you do. I breastfed them individually.
I'm imagining
Yeah.
you've got the sugary water. What is the receptacle?
There's a little tray at the bottom of the hive. You pull it out, you pour it in, you close.
Do you have to put on a beekeeping costume to do that?
Not to do that,
OK.
but there was more to it than that, and this is why the bees escaped.
Right.
It's when you try and get the honey that is the problem, and that's
So
what the problem was.
Why did you try and get their honey?
Because I thought...
He's only away for 5 days.
Yes, but I'd actually seen beekeepers on the television, and I saw the process of the smoking thing and the costume.
And you thought you'd give it a go?
Well, it was there.
Unauthorised.
It was there.
So was the beekeeping costume not locked in his house?
No. It was in a shed. It's just a shed. And it was just hanging there. Everything was so neat, I thought, that's tempting. And then I saw the little thing.
The smoke thing.
No, the woman that was asthmatic. And I helped her, she left. And then there was the smoking thing. It's like a little... It's like a watering can, but it produces smoke if you light it.
Oh, right, so
And that kind of calms them down.
That sort of makes them a bit, you know...
And you figured out how to use that watering can that emits smoke.
Well, I thought I had. That's the problem. There were these little things inside. You know those little things you light that smell nice and they're sometimes pyramid-shaped?
Like a little cone.
Cone, yeah, little cone.
A cone.
Yes. So you light the little cone, it gives off a smell. And there was a box of matches just there as well.
Oh, no.
It was unbelievably convenient. And it was almost like a sketch.
There was a big sign saying, "Why not give it a go?"
So you put the outfit on.
Yeah.
It's now... The thing is smoking. What did you do?
I tried to remember the TV documentary I saw, which was to take the lid off the roof.
Oh, Lord. Quite scary.
I'm a brave man, Rob. I'm a brave man.
Or an idiot. I mean, we'll never know.
There's a third option. I could be a liar. So I decided to take the lid off.
Whoa, so you took the lid off before smoking them?
No, you take the lid off, then you smoke in a downward position. It goes down.
Smoking in a downward
after you
position.
get
You smoke down
Smoke
because...
rises.
No, you don't, because too much smoke can actually kill them. Because if you put it in the bottom and it goes up, it could kill them. It's like the old phrase, never smoke a beehive from the bottom.
So you start smoking from above.
I went... And so when you push it, it forces the smoke down before it floats back up. But it was like a dragon. Yeah. Right, it came out like that.
Right.
And the bees sort of like that, looked up like that. And then a few of them started to come out, but then the big thing happened. The Queen turned up.
How did you identify the Queen?
She had a crown. And smoke, bees, all fly away.
Right.
Including the Queen. Gone. Every one of them.
Every single bee.
Well, there was one in there that sort of went, where'd everyone go? At this point, I'm panicking.
Go to a pet shop. I need 45,000 bees.
And he said, we don't sell bees. And you said, but you had one in your window yesterday.
Maybe they'd gone to an Airbnb. Now, all right, we need an answer. So, David's team. Is Graham Bobby's pound shop pal, Joe's noisy neighbour, or Lee's beeless buddy?
I don't think it's the pound shop thing because that sounded like such a peculiar little sequence of events. I think it's probably the bongos.
You think it's probably the bongos? What do you...
Yeah, I like the bongo story. Although I think he could be a beekeeper.
So what are you going to settle on, then?
I'm feeling the bongo story. It's unlikely, but it's got to be the most likely.
You're going for the bongos. Graham, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Graham, and I let Bobby go on a trolley dash.
Yes, and we have a picture from the local newspaper to prove this. Look, there he is. Yes, Graham is Bobby's pound shop pal. Thank you very much, Graham. Please welcome this week's special guest, Roger. So, Alice, what is Roger to you?
This is Roger. He painted my living room the wrong colour twice.
So Alice is hapless handyman. Les, how do you know Roger?
This is Roger, and he once gave me a lift to Family Fortunes on the top of his bouncy castle.
So, Les's bouncy buddy. And Lee, what is your relationship with Roger?
This is Roger. I once made him spend 20 minutes that he didn't have looking for a dog that didn't exist.
David's team, where would you like to begin?
So, Alice.
Yes.
He painted your living room the wrong colour twice. So what was the first colour?
The first colour was, I believe, called Railings. It's a kind of navy blue from a very posh paint brand.
And what was the colour that you wanted?
I wanted a dusty kind of plaster pink. What?
That is quite different.
It's quite different, yeah.
And the second go?
I got a pink that wasn't a dusty plaster pink.
You like a bit of pink, don't you?
I love a bit of pink, yeah.
And then what happened?
You're wearing pink. He's not being creepy. That's right.
Come with having a Lancastrian accent, everything sounds a bit wrong, doesn't it? You love a bit of pink, don't you?
To be fair to Roger, the first time it was your fault, but the second time it was my fault.
How are you painting pink over very, very dark blue?
I'm glad you asked that. I don't know, but thank goodness you can't see it through anymore because I would have been livid.
That's a great response. Well, I'm glad you asked because I don't know.
I'm so glad you've given me the opportunity to tell you I have no idea. It is much harder to paint light over dark.
Well, this was the thing, and that's why I was so... I mean, I was pretty livid.
What colour were you?
I was... yeah, it was sort of a kind of rosé. And then I feel like I kind of kept a lid on it, but only because Roger said he'd sort it out and was very apologetic.
You should have taken the lid off. You'd have seen what he was painting.
If it turns out that he is a painter and decorator, I'm just glad that he's turned up. I'd also like to say it's the longest I've ever heard a painter and decorator not talking.
This is very interesting, Lee, that you're speculating so much about the profession of the person who you know to have been someone you spoke to about a dog.
Now, Alice,
Yes.
you were wanting a pink. How was there miscommunication where you're asking for a pink and he gives you railings?
Sure. When he came round to do the quote, he came... I've got very high ceilings, don't want to show off, so he did his quote, quite expensive, because, you know, period property. And so worked it out, wrote it in his little book. Then I went away, then he did his stuff. So that's how I think it was just next to another customer's decision.
Right. So you first called him out on it when you saw the railings up on the wall?
Yeah, so that's when he was very apologetic and said, I'll sort it as soon as I can.
So what went wrong the second time?
So the second time, I sent a link to the new colour.
Yes.
But I sent a link to a colour that I'd been considering.
Yes.
When you're swatching it and everything.
Yes.
So that's when it's
So
my
that
fault.
was your
because
error.
So
that was my error.
So did you have to pay for the second
Well, now
one?
I just live with that colour.
Oh, you just left it up?
Well, because we've been doing this for about 3 years now, haven't we? It's taken forever.
You've got really high ceilings.
All right, who would you like to quiz next?
So, Les, the lift on the bouncy castle, how did that come about?
Roger worked on Family Fortunes. You know, people always say to me, where do you get those families? Well, Roger was one of the guys that used to get the families.
You make it sound like he went round shopping centres with a net.
He auditioned them.
Right.
So, on this morning, we're staying in the hotel that's near the studios in Nottingham. And I'm worried because the cab hasn't arrived to take us to the studio because I like to get there early for the production meeting.
On Family Fortunes?
Family Fortunes, this is, yeah.
OK. Is there a lot of preparation?
Rob, you're saying it like you host a show about the Hadron Collider. This is easier than Family Fortunes.
Yeah.
A lot easier.
He's outraged by
I mean,
that.
I would describe this as any idiot could do it.
I think I've proven that. So you've got to get to work.
Yeah, I've got to get to the studios,
Yes.
and the cab hasn't arrived. So Roger said, "I'll tell you what, we'll go in the van." Look at his face. He was working on the show.
Yes.
But in his spare time, he used to provide coconut shies and coconut shies and skittle alleys, and also bouncy castles for fetes and for kids' parties.
So you're late for Family Fortunes.
Yeah.
Les is the man who finds the families, but he also has a bouncy castle
No,
company.
I'm Les. That's Roger.
Roger.
As I was saying, any idiot could host this show. Any idiot.
I'm proving it's not as easy as it looks.
Do you know what? If he'd have got here earlier and learned the names.
And he stays at the same hotel?
He's at the hotel, and so are two of the writers and the warm-up man. We're all there.
With his van, with his bouncy castles?
With his van, with his bouncy castles.
OK.
And we all get in the van. The warm-up man, Bobby, and I sat in the back, and Bobby just sat on the skittle alley. And I thought, well, the bouncy castle looks like the most comfortable place, so I sat on the bouncy castle.
Can I just ask, did you take your shoes and socks off?
It wasn't fully up, it was deflated. So we get in the van, and when we get to the studio, the security man doesn't come out first, so Roger gets his bugle out. And goes...
Why has he got a bugle?
Well, Roger is a musician as well as having this leisure cabin. So he plays the bugle, and the security guy comes out and says, "What have you got?" And Roger says, "I've got 2 comedy writers and a warm-up man and a game show host in the back." And I actually said, "If it's up there, I'll give you the money myself."
Oh, come on!
All right. Now, what about Lee?
Yes,
so
Lee,
remind us, what is it you're claiming?
I once made Roger spend 20 minutes that he didn't have looking for a dog that didn't exist.
What was he late for?
For work.
And what does he do?
work as?
Bouncy castles. We've already been through that.
He's got another job as well as the bugles, the bouncy castles, and the taxi service to Family Fortunes.
And the painting.
And the musician.
He's absolutely recession-proof, isn't he?
He also works at a lockkeeper's cottage.
A lockkeeper's cottage?
He's a lockkeeper.
Now, what about this little dog?
Yes. What little dog?
The little...
Oh, the dog, yes. I was having a walk, as is my right. I mean, who's going to stop me?
It's an open prison.
Yeah.
You do what you want.
So now I'm having a walk in my local park, and I was caught short. So I popped into an enclosed area of trees and bushes.
Yeah.
And I did what I needed to do.
Number 2?
I can't remember which tree it was. I saw a little dog appear. Now, I thought to myself, I know what happens here. Somebody's going to come in after that dog. And sure enough, a man started coming in after the dog. So the dog's now looking at me weeing against the tree, quite shocked to look, as if to say,
what?
How are you doing that? With both feet on the ground. And I can see Roger coming in. But, I quickly zip up.
While you're weeing?
No, I was able to stop my wee because
you're stopping
there
mid-wee.
are people that can stop mid-flow. Some people can do it. I have that kind of control.
I can do it, but I don't like to.
Luckily, I was coming to the tail end, so I zipped up quickly, and he's now come in, and he sees me as I'm sort of appearing from around the tree. So what do? I panic, and I shout, "Sheba! Sheba!" And I start pretending I'm looking for a dog.
I see.
So you then wasted 20 minutes of Roger's time, as we know. But listen, we can all stop mid-flow. Yeah. It's fine. For 20 minutes...
Who said I stopped for 20 minutes?
Continue.
What now? He said, "Oh, well, I'll help you look." And he goes off and looks in another area with trees and stuff to see if the dog's over there. I take the opportunity to finish the wee. I'm not going to lie. His dog stays there looking at me as if to go, "You liar." After 20 minutes of him seeing me getting upset, but I wasn't upset, I was acting, I eventually had a plan, because I thought, I can't go from Sheba! Sheba! to... I said, I'm going to get going. Very hard to make that join, isn't it?
I'm going to get another dog.
You know what I mean? So eventually, when he was far enough away, I went, Sheba! Sheba, is that my phone? Hello? No way! She hasn't. Has she?
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Her body had been found by the police.
She'd found her way home.
All right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is Roger Alice's hapless handyman, Les's bouncy buddy, or Lee's dog detective?
I think Lee.
You think Lee?
No, I'm kidding. Was it inflated, the bouncy castle, Les?
No, I said that before. It kind of deflated, but it was still quite comfortable.
You see, that
you
I
would
don't
pack it
believe.
away. You would
I think
pack
it's
it away.
either deflated fully,
Yeah.
or it's fully... I don't think it'd be in a sort of mid-state shoved in the van next to the coconut shy.
And also, when they were talking about painting and decorating, Roger looked very cross.
He did look...
And he does look like he has his cup of tea, milk, 3 sugars. And that's classic builder stuff.
I think he didn't take kindly to that stereotyping. We think Alice, don't we? I think we're going to go with Alice.
You think it's Alice? Roger, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Roger, and I took Les to Family Fortunes, where he would sit on the bouncy castle.
Yes, Roger is Les's bouncy buddy. Thank you very much, Roger.